I think that we need to actually reinstitute the notion of healthy cultural shaming. Because, and I came across, there was a really interesting book called Enchantment and Exploitation. And it was basically a story, a very detailed analysis of northern New Mexico sheep herding and then cattle raising in like the late 19th century. And basically the Hispanic communities that had been there for ages, for centuries, since original Spanish settlement, were sheep and goat herders. And then you kind of had the East Coast capital backed cowboys and ranchers with the barbed wire and all the range wars, like who got to fence in what stuff and claim the commons, right? And the idea was that in the Hispanic sheep community, sheep herding communities, there was a natural checks and balances. If one guy got greedy and started growing his flock and all those things, but everybody was still, they had to migrate their various flocks through the same valleys and same watersheds and this kind of stuff, they would get teased. They'd get ribbed, like, hey, what are you getting a little greedy, getting a little gordito over there, buddy? Like, what you doing? Or the aunties and the mothers and the grandmothers would kind of weigh in, and there would just be this social calibration, right, of what was good for the commons, right? And I think Brene Brown has maybe used these terms exactly opposite than the way I've come to understand them. But my distinction between guilt, right, which is I am unworthy, right, or bad, we definitely want to minimize guilt. But shame, I have transgressed the norms of my tribe, right, is actually an essential tool. And we've diminished that in the whole, no fat shaming, no slut shaming, no to blah, 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 all the things that we've said these days lately. But the actual thing is like shame is an essential corrective when somebody gets overly agentic, egocentric, and extractive.